Hey, this is Eric Hunter, and I want to talk about caring for brass pendulums. I really love brass pendulums. I got started with brass pendulums, and they have really great energy, and they're really durable. Gold-plated pendulums, I love them too, but unfortunately, eventually the gold plating will wear off if you're using it all the time. But the cool thing about brass is that it's really indestructible almost. You can easily keep it looking good, and it can look brand new for decades. So I want to just talk about that. So how do we do that? Well, here's one of my models. I've offered this in the past in gold plating, and I made it as durable as possible, and they've lasted people a while. But I wanted to offer it this time in brass. And so I call this one the blue-green healer because it creates blue-green energy. And I have another one here, which I call the Egyptian, just because it looks similar to Egyptian styles, not because it's truly Egyptian per se. But this is another great pendulum. In the past, I offered mostly in gold plating, also rhodium plating, and those are awesome. And a lot of you have them. But now I'm offering it in brass as an alternative. And the energy on these is great. Like, I love these pendulums. I use them all the time. They get the other one too. They've got really great energy, really distinctive. And I wanted to offer these in brass just to get back to my roots, and also to just offer some really durable pendulums that can really just last you a lifetime, and you can just keep them forever. Now, one thing that someone said to me was like, well, I don't like the brass ones. I like your gold plated ones better because they stay shiny for longer. Because eventually the brass does get tarnished or sort of dull looking. And I remember that when I first started, I didn't really think about the chemistry of brass or anything. I just was buying all these pendulums. And I'd really loved the brass ones when I first got them. I'm like, oh, wow, they look so pretty, blah, blah, blah. And then after a little while, they would start to tarnish a little bit. So, that was just something that happened. I didn't quite understand at the time. But now that I've had a lot more experience with brass and I've worked with it a lot, I have some suggestions where you can keep the brass looking good for a long time. All right, so number one, if you want to keep the brass looking good, keep it cool and dry. Keep it away from moisture. And what I've found is that if you put a pendulum like this, that's brass and it's shiny, in like a Tupperware box with some silica gel or drying things that dry out the air in the box, it will stay shiny like this for years and not tarnish. The main thing that's going to make it tarnish is moisture from the air. So number one, if you can put it into a container that does not have moisture in it, that's completely dry, it will stay shiny for a long time. Now, let's say you can't do that easily. What's the solution? Well, what I've found is there is a product called the Sunshine Cloth. And this is a polishing cloth, and these are really great for keeping your pendulums looking shiny. So what I'm doing right now is these two pendulums, if you order one of them, I'm going to include a Sunshine Cloth in it, while supplies last, but I have a lot of these. So I'm going to include one of these in it so you can use it and get a feel for how it works. But I'll show you right now in the video. So basically what you do is as soon as you notice your pendulum starting to tarnish, you get your handy dandy Sunshine Cloth. I'm going to get one here. This is a big one. You get your Sunshine Cloth, and all you do is you just wipe the pendulum on the cloth. And I usually kind of wrap the pendulum around in the cloth and just kind of rub it. And if you do this for a few minutes, you will see that some black residue gets on the cloth and your pendulum is much shinier than it was before. And this will work. Now, if it's extremely corroded, like you've let it go for years and it's really tarnished, well, then you might need to use a little bit of acid first. Like I have a video on that. Like you can use lemon juice or vinegar. You might need to soak the pendulum in that first. And then once it's done, hit it with the Sunshine Cloth, clean it with Sunshine Cloth. But if you have it and it's just mild tarnishing, just very mild, you can just take the Sunshine Cloth, and once you see it starting to get a little bit tarnished, and just give it a quick rub down, and it will get it looking shiny like new. So that's the great thing about brass. Yes, eventually the brass will tarnish, but it is very easy to restore it to its original state. I had some pendulums that were sent to me once, and the person who by a distributor who makes them for me, and somehow like the box got like totally wet or something. I don't understand what happened, but they were completely like black. They looked horrible. And I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? And so what I did was I just put them in lemon juice for a few hours with some salt, just put them in there. And I have a video on how to do that. I put them in there, and I took them out, I rinsed them off with water. They were about 80, they went from being completely black to like about 80 or like 85% clean. And then I just polished them with the sunshine cloths, and they looked brand new. You couldn't even tell that they had been like, they looked like they were completely destroyed. So that's something that's really nice about the brass, is that it's very durable. It lasts a long time. And if you're willing to just put a little bit of effort in, you can keep them looking really nice. And it's super easy to do with this product called the Sunshine Cloth. And like I said, if you buy one of my custom models, like this Egyptian one or the blue-green healer, I'll give you a sunshine cloth so you can start with that and see how it works for you. Now, the truth of the matter is, even if you don't polish them and they tarnish, they're still going to work really well. So you don't need to be overly concerned about that. And it's fine if you use them while they're tarnished, but it's not hard to keep them looking brand new. And they are, the truth of the matter is, they are more durable than the gold-plated ones. Now, don't get me wrong, though. I love the gold-plated ones. I use them myself all the time. I create a lot of them that are gold-plated. I sell it, and I highly recommend the gold-plated ones. But these also fill a niche, they're useful because they really last forever. The surface never wears off. You know, and they're going to, like, if you need to use the pendulum in circumstances where like you're putting it in your purse all the time, or there's going to be a little bit rough and tumble, or you got to carry it around and it could get scratched or something like that, get one of these brass ones to take with you in those circumstances, and keep the gold-plated ones at home for distance healing, using them on your altar, special occasions, etc. If you want to wear the pendulum and you're going to sweat a lot or things like that, get the brass one and then have a sunshine cloth, and just once a week, just sort of hit it with the sunshine cloth, rub it down, and keep it shiny looking. You know, so these are more, they in America, they call it rough and tumble. It means like, you know, you could throw this one on the ground. You could, like, your kid could take it and, like, you know, whack it or whatever, and it's still going to work great, and it's not going to wreck the finish, because the brass can just be polished again. And if you have a scratch, and it can be polished out or just made shiny, and you won't even notice it. With the gold-plated ones, the rhodium-plated ones, their energy is a little bit more refined, and they are like higher vibration. So that's why I sell them, but they aren't as durable. If your kid takes it and rubs it on some sandpaper or something, it might get messed up. Or if you put it in your pocket with your keys in there, it could scratch the finish and make it not as good. So I recommend considering getting a few of these brass ones for your collection. And if you're really concerned about aesthetics and looks, just get the sunshine cloth and just wipe these off. And then when you're not using it, if possible, put it into a box, like a Tupperware container with those silica gel or dry packets in it. That will keep it dry, and it will stay nice and shiny for use. But as I said, even if it doesn't stay shiny, they still work really well. You can use one of these tarnished brass pendulums. They work great. Brass has really good energy. So anyway, I hope this video was useful and you liked it. You put your comments, questions down below. And thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.